TV.
What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, aka Darth Apocalypse. All right, so let's get to this. All this off season, we had heard that LeBron is just trying to go somewhere where he can play a role. He just wants to fit in. That was the PR bump that we heard from his camp, right? He's seeking happiness. Well, we knew that was the spin when it became apparent that they weren't going to get the max deal that they demanded from the Lakers somehow. But when that wasn't met and they were booted essentially from the Lakers and he spun it like he chose to walk off, um, even though supposedly all these teams had all this high demand for him, um, he chose to sign a 2 year, $8 million contract, which goes to show you that the demand for him was not really that strong. However, one thing about Clutch is that they're very LeBron and Clutch. They're very strategic in as far as where they're going to go and maximizing the leverage that they have as far as what his role is going to be and how uh, dominant he's going to be as far as in the offense. And one of the things that LeBron bitched about so much last year was being the third option. He bitched about that, even though you have Luka Doncic, a guy in his prime who's giving you 34, 8, and 8 every night. And you have a growing talent in Austin Reeves. LeBron couldn't stand being the third fiddle, even at age 40 going on 41. Now he's 41 going on 42. And even though he was saying all the right things earlier on, his camp at least, you started getting the trickles that the same old play was in place once it was announced he was in Philly, or he was going to go to Philly. Actually, even before that, because when it was thought that he was going to Miami, what did you hear certain ESPN programs and ESPN analysts say? Well, Giannis and Bam would be better off if LeBron was running the show, if LeBron was the first option. Now that he's with Philly, what did you hear a week or so ago? That LeBron was going to be featured prominently at point guard this upcoming season for the Sixers at 41 years of age, even though they have Tyrese Maxey, who averaged 28 points a game last year. Now, the head coach himself, Nick Nurse, confirms that LeBron James will be the future point guard for the Sixers. He says, quote, in an interview, with NBC South Philly, I think it is, about LeBron, quote, he is an offense creator. He is certainly a guy that will bring the ball up the floor and try to create for himself and others. He is really good for others. So that confirms further that he's going to be the starting point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers. This confirms that the system is in place. And at one point in time, I will concede if LeBron was in his prime, and if you stack the deck enough, the skill set of the others and the overall dominance of the team was enough to supersede LeBron's deficiencies for order the team to be successful and maybe even win a couple of titles. Although if you put other people in place, they would have won 2 to 3 times as often as far as championships is concerned. Other guys, you can just insert them on great teams, and they make the teams better. For all of his faults, Kevin Durant is one of those guys. LeBron, in order for him to be successful, you have to change and augment the way you play to fit him. When he's at an age where the shoe should be, it should be the other way around, I should say. Or the shoe should be on the other foot. I was using the right expression. He needs to adapt to others at this point. Essentially, he's a role player masquerading as a superstar. And it's sickening. It's a sickening display of malignant narcissism that I don't understand why. At this point, I just look at the media as a bunch of sycophantic lapdogs that just have no backbone. But when you look at the makeup of the and construction of the media, it's full of nothing but a bunch of DEI hires any motherfucking way. And yeah, I use that term. I'm sick of holding back, man. I don't have no respect for these guys. Because that's what you're acting like. You're acting like you were just hired for your complexion to fill a quota, but you guys are mediocre. You don't have any fucking knowledge of sports. Some of you were probably hired based upon how good your throat game is, male and female. I just have no respect for these people. It's like literally LeBron is Homelander and everybody else is just, yeah, whatever you say, Holmes. Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. Just a bunch of weaselly, sycophantic, you know, just sniveling, just doormats. And will say whatever they got to say to get those little checks. The fact of the matter is, man, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You already see them lowering expectations. You're already seeing them use excuses. Joel Embiid's not the same guy. He's washed up. Even though he averaged 28 points and 9 rebounds, just coming off of emergency appendix surgery against the Boston Celtics. But he's washed up, right? Tyrese Maxey, well, he's clutch, so he's going to do whatever the fuck Clutch wants him to do. Nick Nurse is Clutch affiliated, so he's going to do whatever they tell him to do as far as the lineup. So you know LeBron's going to be the starting point guard. There was no real uh, doubt about that. So the people who really are going to fill it are Joel Embiid, VJ Edgecombe, and Jaylen Brown. And I think the person who really is going to be in for a rude awakening this upcoming season is Joel Embiid. Because I get the sense that Joel Embiid, just based upon how much criticism he's getting, I get the sense that he's not bought into this thing with LeBron. I get the sense nobody really consulted with him. When a guy like Rich Paul says that this is Tyrese Maxey's team, that tells me that Joel Embiid is not bought into this, and they didn't consult with him about a lot of these things. He feels slighted. He feels like his team is being overtaken and taken over by these outsiders. That's why he's being criticized for things that he hadn't been criticized before, much before. You know, the things that we've been critiquing him about, getting hurt a lot, although some of it's not his fault, but some of it is for him being out of shape for so long. Not getting out of the second round, being more focused on stats than team success. These are things that we've been complaining about with Joel Embiid for years. The media never did it. But now that he's playing with you know who, now they're still in our talking points and talking about how he just can't stay healthy. He's missed almost 500 games. He hasn't been out of the second round. The same thing they did with Luka Doncic last year. Remember, for years we were saying Luka don't play any damn defense. Now what you hear? Oh, well, Luka doesn't play defense. One thing that's different about Luka Doncic excuse me, one thing is different about Joel Embiid, I should say, compared to, say, Luka Doncic or Russell Westbrook, who are all scapegoats to a degree, especially Russ. Joel's going to speak out if he feels like the media's effing with him. That's why I don't think this thing's going to end up well. And I tend to see Joel Embiid possibly traded by the end of this season. VJ Edgecombe could be traded by the All Star break. I don't see this thing ending well. I don't. And they're going to say, and you're going to see Richard Jefferson part his lips with that nasally, you know, that nasally alphabet spectrum voice of his. Look, I know some people are gonna some people are gonna say that they get tired of me saying this, but it's just true. I mean, look, at this point, LeBron needs help. I mean, he can't do it all by himself. I mean, where are you guys? Why aren't you guys putting up the same numbers and stats? Am I lying? He's gonna say it, and we're gonna be like,
"Oh, brother, this guy stinks!"
yeah. So anyway, that's all I got to say about it, man. Tell me what you guys think.
Raw 4 TV.